What's going on, everyone? This is going to be a big episode. I got a great group of people here. We are going to break down 2 episodes of WandaVision. I'm going to tell you right now, if you loved WandaVision, you might like it a little bit more after today. If you disliked it, you may even like it a little bit more after this. We're going to break down everything, both episodes. But first, let's get into who's here. We got Mr. 100K himself, Mint Collectibles, with that big old plaque behind him.
Yo, what up, man? How's it going, everybody?
And then, of course, 2/3 of Pressable Defects. What's up, Jay and Matt?
What is up, guys? Happy to be here reviewing this show. We'll get into some books. We'll get into what we thought. So thanks for having us, man.
And guys, there was a lot of people in the chat before we even got going here. We got Sith Lordly. We've got Javier Pedraza, Danny Dodd, Wesley, Terry JSA, Cody Comics, BX Boxer, who we were just hanging out with last weekend, Don Davis, Uncanny Swag. There's a whole bunch of people in here, but we have a lot to talk about, so I'm just going to jump right into it. So first thing we're going to do, guys, is what? Talk about episode 1, right? Very slow. I got to say that. Episode 1 was definitely slower than episode 2. Let's see. How did we start here? They show up, Vision and Scarlet Witch show up in a house. You know, they just got married, or, you know, the introduction. They're walking in, and like the first line is almost like a nod right away to Endgame, with Wanda crashing the plate into Vision's head, and oh, my husband and his indestructible head, when we know Thanos just tore my man's head apart to take that, what was that, the Mind Stone, right?
The Mind Stone.
So that's how the show immediately starts. It's black and white. You've got like the 1950s vibe going, because we're going to get into this, but it almost feels like it's going from the 50s to the 60s. It looks like episode 3 is going to be the 70s and so on.
Definitely.
We'll all discuss. We go through that. Vision goes to work, because that's normal for him to do. We find out too, before that there's a mark on the calendar. What's going on with that?
Got a heart on there.
Got the heart on the calendar. He's at work. We figure out, oh my God, the boss is coming over for dinner. At the same time, the new neighbor is coming over. Well, I guess what? Vision and Scarlet Witch are the new neighbors. Right. So a neighbor's coming over. She's introducing herself.
Very 50s. Neighbors coming over, bringing housewarming gifts or casseroles or whatever.
Super friendly. Very, like, here you go, Don Davis. It's a Dick Van Dyke copy. It's got that 50s vibe to it. The hair, the clothes, the slang, the talking, all of it. The music, all of it.
Yeah. Vision. Even the special effects that happen within the show aren't made to look as up to date as the special effects when they're breaking the fourth wall. Like when she's levitating stuff, it almost looks like it's being held up by strings. Oh, right. But then later on, or when he changes from like the android vision to the human vision, that kind of has more of a modern transition, you know?
With the little stars and the sound effects too.
Yeah.
Bewitched style almost.
And that's more of the second episode. But back to episode 1. Episode 1 is very much like you're right smack in this world that Wanda created. She's mourning the death of Vision in Endgame, like you mentioned. Probably hasn't gotten over her brother's death, right, in Age of Ultron. And like she's fabricated this world. Now, I don't know why she's going back in time through TV eras. We kind of get a glimpse at the end, which we'll get to. But you're just thrown right into the mix of it right away.
Yeah, it's I gotta say, it's hard to enjoy it when this is the first thing we get in over a year.
I agree.
But I will say this, I'm going to defend it a little bit. It wasn't supposed to be the first thing that we got from Marvel in over a year.
That's true.
So maybe there was some rewriting, some moving things around. So anyway, the boss comes over, his wife comes over. Scarlet Witch is looking fine in her 1950s lingerie. Oh yeah. I think that I love her. I love Elizabeth Olsen. And she's got to make dinner real quick. The neighbor comes over to help. Long story short, they're sitting down for dinner. The boss is choking, and it almost seems like Wanda's able to take herself out of the situation and just basically break it down. I am a superhero. Vision, you need to save him right now. He's choking. Vision saves him.
But not only that, this is like the first time where the perfect little world shows some cracks, because even the neighbor's wife kind of gets stuck in a loop of stop it, right?
Yep,
and it's almost like that's out of character, because this would never happen. This would never happen in I Love Lucy or Dick Van Dyke, like where this guy's choking and he's gonna die, and Vision and Scarlet Witch are just staring at each other. It's like that's the first time where we see like this world is not really the real world, even though we already know, but it's showing it now,
Yeah, and it continues on from that point, because not only does this guy just wake up, okay, this guy just saved my life by sticking his hand into my throat.
Yep.
I got to get up and go now. Dinner was great. You get the promotion.
Yep.
And why did he get the promotion? That had to be a terrible dinner, especially compared to the other guy's dinner.
Right.
Seems like he did way better, but still got fired. So that's just showing you that it's whatever Wanda's creating it and whatever she's making it, and that we'll have to talk about even more towards the end of episode 2.
Yeah. Not only is episode 2 is where things really pick up.
We'll get there, because there's a lot to still unpack with episode 1, right? So there's the thing about this show and this episode, it's not so much what's happening in this fake world, it's all of the little glimpses of the real world that we're getting. And then on top of that, all the Easter eggs, which we're going to break down thoroughly. There are so many Easter eggs. It's almost like you're watching this, but you're really looking for the other little things, because nobody cares about the dinner or the boss. Like that doesn't really matter. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah. And
if you're a comic book guy, you're looking for the Easter eggs.
Yeah, because this was not. We have yet to see any action.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
We have yet to see any drama. This show is just shrouded in mystery. What's going on?
They went different, man. You got to respect it. Like, honestly, I didn't enjoy the antics in the 50s and the 60s like tropes, but I enjoyed like the little teases of the unraveling of this world, and I know it's just going to build up to some big, huge thing at the end. So that kind of is keeping me intrigued.
The one thing I will say is I do hope it comes sooner than later.
I mean, what's only 9 episodes or 8 episodes?
8 episodes.
So we only have 6 left.
I mean, first of all, when we get to episode 2, it's starting to come already. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll get to it.
So, all right, Jay. I know you weren't a huge fan of it.
Nope.
My wife hated it.
What are you thinking?
I thought it was absolutely terrible. And here's why. I thought it was absolutely terrible. I tried to look at it from 2 different perspectives. 1 as a comic book show, which absolutely failed. And 2 as a sitcom, which absolutely failed.
But it's neither. It's not either one of those things.
But what is it?
It's got a shroud. It's got like this cloak that it's a comic book or a sitcom, but it's really like a mystery. It's really almost like a suspense mystery of why is Scarlet Witch trapped? You hear somebody whispering to her at the end, watching her from a TV screen. So yeah, it's a journey into mystery. It's a Twilight Zone. It's a almost like, I don't want to say sci-fi thriller. It's definitely a suspense thriller disguised as this comedy comic book show.
So that for me, I think Marvel's so high on a pedestal, and people were absolutely waiting for. If this was a DC show, it would absolutely get crucified, because in my opinion, the first 2 episodes were terrible. They were almost unwatchable. The only thing that kept me going through these episodes was looking for Easter eggs. Besides that, it was almost unwatchable.
So let me tell you this, though, about the Easter eggs, because we have a lot to go through.
There's a ton of them. I didn't even know about most of them.
Yeah.
Has there ever been a movie yet that has had these many Easter eggs in this scale, literally in 1 hour? Because that's what we've gotten. So
I was going to say, for the time.
So here's the thing with that, with the Easter eggs. If you're a comic book head and you're a comic book guy, obviously like the 4 of us are, you're looking for Easter eggs. If you're an outsider,
either way.
Yeah, if you're an outsider looking in, you're like, what's going on here? What is this?
True. Like my wife, like Fee, she was like, yo,
my wife the same. She was like, what is this?
This is crap, yeah.
Yeah, it's crap. And it's
get it.
And the most fun I had was looking for the Easter eggs, because I compared it to other comic book shows which I started to, when I compared it to the first episode of The Boys, Titans, The Umbrella Academy, and Lock and Key, I said this is absolutely the worst show that has come out.
I think I think how you have to look at it, and I think it'll flesh itself out as more time goes on, is that
Matt said flesh.
Yeah, said flesh. So this wasn't supposed to be the first MCU thing that we see in a year and a half, right? This was supposed to come after Black Widow. This was supposed to come after Eternals. Even Falcon and the Winter Soldier was supposed to come out before this originally.
Yeah, this would have been such an easier pill to swallow after all those bangers, you know?
Yeah, right. I agree.
So it would have been a crazy change of pace after all that.
Change of pace. And we have to remember that these shows and movies are all tied together. So you can't think of this as an episode of WandaVision as much as it's just a pillar or a building block of what the MCU is trying to build. So it depends how you take it, right? So for what Marvel did in the show, whether you liked it or not, if it was your cup of tea or not, it wasn't mine, but they did it really well. They made the episode really well, so I appreciated that. And the Easter eggs, I think the episodes were really set up just for the Easter eggs and to kind of set the tone. I mean, it would have felt kind of weird for them to just jump into like a comic book style movie action pack. Like, I honestly don't know how else you could have started this show. Like, this show was built to be something different than anything we've ever seen from the MCU in 5 years.
And look at the characters. Scarlet Witch, she's the Reality Stone embodiment. So they want to showcase her ability to manipulate reality. And what better way than to kind of seclude herself in this fake world to make her feel like everything's okay when it's the total opposite from that.
Yep.
Okay, I don't want to say I enjoyed it, but I'm going to actually back Matt up 100%. I really enjoyed what it was. So for me, my favorite Marvel movies that aren't like big banger movies are the ones that move the overall story forward. And what we're seeing now from WandaVision is literally the beginning of the next story. It's just starting out. We've just, like, how much have we seen already that we saw in the trailers? Quite a bit, right? So how much have they not even shown us yet?
Right.
So
the
only thing we haven't seen was like the Halloween costume scene, right?
Which looks like it's either coming next. It's probably coming next episode.
So
within 2 episodes, because that almost looked like the 80s, didn't it?
80s or 90s. It could be either way, right?
Yeah. So we're gonna look at the 70s next. You almost have a Brady Bunch feel next, right? And then, which we'll get into, and then the 80s, I would imagine. It almost looks like it's moving through the decades.
Gary, guys, do you think it's going to be more palatable when it's in color and it's 70s, 80s, 90s starting to feel more familiar? Because we're throwing it back with the black and white sitcoms.
I thought they were going to do it better in the black and white, man. I got to be honest. Looking at it like this, listen, it's 8 episodes long, right? We're already a quarter of the way done. It's 2 episodes. We have absolutely nothing, and they're only half-hour episodes. So those 2 episodes, I mean, a whole episode with Wanda and Vision and Vision's boss was watching I Love Lucy, but I Love Lucy is better. It wasn't funny, and there was nothing really comic book about it.
Right.
Same with the second episode. You got the Easter eggs, but if this show didn't have the Easter eggs, what would it be? It would be terrible.
Of course, but it does have the Easter eggs, though.
It does. Yeah. It does. But why? Like I said, like from an outsider looking in, if you don't read comic books and you just watch the Marvel movies and shows, you must be looking at this like, what the hell is this?
All right, what if they would have released the whole season at once?
That I think would be their best move.
Because now, and that's why they released 2 episodes, because you couldn't have dropped 1 and then 2. People would have been like, "What the hell is this?" But they were like, "All right, let's get these out the way. It's gonna get better. We promise. Just watch episode 3."
Yeah, but like I said, like I compare Marvel's the bigwig.
Yeah.
When you look at Marvel's show and production, and you compare it to the first episode of The Boys was better comic book and better comedy. So whatever Marvel was trying to go for there, they failed both, in my opinion.
I don't think they were going for comedy. I think they were going for campy.
Yeah, cheesy on purpose.
And I think it was spot on. Was it funny? No, but maybe it wasn't supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be clever. Like, look, we can make this 50s version of whatever's going on in Wanda's head, right? And then we just went into the 60s. You saw the transition. So we're still black and white, but you saw the wardrobe change between the 2 episodes, as well as the hairstyle. That was kind of a big thing, but just Wanda alone.
Did you guys notice that it wasn't even in widescreen? It was in a 4x3 format?
right away.
And during the opening Marvel thing, when it transitioned to black and white, the sound changed.
Yep, the sound changed. Yep.
Well, I thought that was good.
That's what I'm saying. They put a lot of detail in it, and I agree with Jay. Like, I was watching it, and I'm like, this is horrible.
Yeah.
But then after it was over, I appreciated it more for what it was and the foundation they're trying to. I'm not trying to give them a pass, but I have a feeling everybody's tune is going to change after episodes 3.
I feel like the only reason it gets a pass is because it's Marvel. If DC would have put this show out, it would have been.
Hey,
I don't know. First of all, everybody's
got some stock.
Everybody knew we knew this is what we were going to get. We knew we had a chance that it was going to be some weird kind of thing. I give them props for being creative. It's not Infinity War. That's my favorite type of stuff is the big Avengers movie. So I get it. But I don't think it's, they're Marvel. I think it's like, dang, they think outside the box. They're using Wanda's powers. And what would this character really go through if this happened to her? And damn, maybe if she would create this fake world, or how do we even show an example of a fake world that she would create? Hey, maybe it's something that she grew up watching or whatever, so I don't know. There's a lot of creativity there, but again, I think that like a lot of people are saying in the chat, once we get to the payoff, it's going to be like, all right, boom, that was worth it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think we're going to look back and be like, you know what? Those episodes were tough, but the end result was like, wow. Thinking about they touched on whatever the end result is, maybe they touched on it in episode 1, 2, 3, 4, like they teased it.
You could probably make an edit of this whole season, cut out all the bullshit, and just have the little teases and make a dope movie out of it, But for now, we gotta power through those.
First
other parts.
MCU show, right? So we don't know how their shows flow. We only know how their movies flow.
If
this was a movie, this would be like 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a movie, not a full episode. But we have 8 hours of footage here.
That's what I was going to say. We're already down 2 episodes, which is a quarter of the way. So we got 6 half-hour episodes to get into. 4 hours,
I should say. Yeah.
We got 6 episodes, half-hour each, to cover a lot of ground. Unless they just leave cliffhangers until the next.
I'm sure they're gonna.
I like Avery Kilgore's comment. They should have added more explosions and unnecessary fight scenes for the Butcher.
That's what he was waiting for.
Well, yeah, you know what? Not even that. Not even that. But
I know he's just breaking your balls.
I would say just more like maybe just touch instead of like so much like I Love Lucy show. Maybe just a little bit more.
They went all in.
Yeah, they went all in on that on both episodes.
And I like what my man said. Is it Uncanny Swag that it's more like the Legion show? You ever see Legion?
Yes. Yep.
It's more on that type of vibe. All right, let's move it forward. Right. So what happened?
Let's do those Easter eggs.
We got to talk about the Easter eggs from episode 1. So when I opened the show saying, look, if you liked it, you're going to like it a lot more with these Easter eggs. If you didn't like the show, this may help a little bit. Like Jay's saying, if it wasn't for all of this info we're about to hit you guys with, it would have been a flop.
Get your pen and paper ready.
I didn't know about 99% of these, but let's go.
Let's go, Jay. This one's you.
So here you go. Agatha Harkness, right? You see her as the neighbor, right? First of all, I don't know if you guys know out there, but when you give your neighbor a pineapple, it means you're a swinger. So that could be a little Easter egg right there. And that's fact. You guys can.
How do you know that, Jay?
Trust me, I know.
There was a pineapple at your house the last time I was there.
Yeah, me too. The last time I was there, I saw a pineapple.
Listen, it's the fruit of the gods, man. But anyway, Agatha, right? She first appears there. Matt's holding it right there. Fantastic 494. And in the comic books, what she is she's basically a mentor to Wanda. She's a witch. She's an older witch, and she's a mentor to Wanda, which you already see translating into the show with helping her cook and trying to help her out with her. She thought it was an anniversary and giving Wanda types of tips and stuff like that. So she's already playing that role, which is key. And I think she's going to be a big part of the series. So this might be a book to grab, guys, because this is still on the cheap end, right, Matt? What could you grab?
It's going. You know what? I mean, I think probably 75. If you're into comics, most people knew about that. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This has gone up a lot. I mean, 3 months ago, you probably could have bought this book in mid-grade for like $5. Now it's probably about 50. So it's definitely gone up. I don't know. It might be a little too late for this one, but you can find it in back bins. I still think.
What about this one, Matt?
As far as price wise, I think that's still an affordable. It's definitely still an affordable book, but how much higher does it go is the question.
Right now,
know?
so Ultimate Fantastic 454, guys. That's Agatha as a younger woman, as she's portrayed in the
Hold
show
on.
right now.
Back it up. I didn't even put together that the neighbor was also the comic book character. Now, when you guys told me that, I'm like, yeah, Agatha from House of M, the older lady, the witch mentor, like that even shows you how much thought they put into the show. It wasn't like, yo, okay, let's just make it just like Dick Van Dyke. Like little things like this, like the neighbor is actually a comic book character as well.
Yeah, and you'll see
a lot of people to talk about.
Every character you see in this show is somebody, and that's what made the show good for me. It wasn't the synopsis of it; it was the characters and what they could possibly lead into. So that's where I give Marvel credit.
Remember, we're just talking about episode 1 right now because we're going to go over all this again for
one.
episode 2. So we're just covering episode 1 spoilers and talk about every single person is someone, right?
Yep.
What do we got? Bang.
So next up, we have Phil Jones, guys. You see him. He's the co-worker of Vision. He gets fired because his dinner wasn't good enough for Mr. Hart. That was a pretty funny scene. I chuckled at that. But in the comics, guys, Phil is married to Arcania from Squadron Supreme. So again, he's another character, kind of an Easter egg that they throw out there. Her first appearance is right here as Gary threw it up, Squadron Supreme number 9. And what Arcania is basically a witch time traveler that tries to make the universe all about women. And she's tight-knit with Wanda. So that's another Easter egg. And this book you could find cheap, guys. You could find this in dollar bins. We'll see if Phil, he looks like he's going to have a recurring role on the show.
I believe he pops up in episode 2.
Yeah, he's back. He's in the magic show.
Yeah, with the piano.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Remember, 2 things about this. Remember what Jay just said about the female-centric world. Remember that for later.
Yep.
And also Squadron Supreme, I had heard rumors about them appearing in the MCU. I don't think we have their pictures, but you have Avengers 69 as the first cameo, and then Avengers 85 is the first full of Squadron Supreme, if you want to grab that as well.
Yeah, so there you have it, guys. No one in this show is nobody. Just remember that. Everyone has a role and is an Easter egg, so we'll get into it even more.
All right, you ready for another one?
Let's go.
Do it.
All right, guys. Abe Brown. Let me get to my notes. So you see right here, Abe Brown, the director. If you guys go and Google Abe Brown Marvel, Abe Brown was part of a martial arts trio known as the Sons of the Tiger. And their first appearance was the Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 1, which happens to tie into Shang-Chi, guys. So again, out of all those names in the credits, the only one that's actually anything is Abe Brown. And this could be tying right into Shang-Chi, as we all know is coming soon. And another book you could grab on the cheap. If the Sons of the Tiger are going to come, it might be a book worth specking on, grabbing, and flipping before it's too late.
So this is one of my favorite specs on our entire list tonight because we haven't seen anything teased about Shang-Chi. We haven't seen anyone in the MCU except the fake Mandarin, right? So this is a book worth grabbing. If Shang-Chi pops off, which I believe it will, they're going to push that movie. This is a book to grab.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think 2 things to remember about all the Easter eggs that we're dropping tonight is I would say the majority of them do not have anything to do with what's going to happen in WandaVision. I think it ties into the rest of the MCU. And then as far as the spec that Jay just dropped, so you got Abraham Brown, and that's in number 1. He becomes Black Tiger. His I guess superhero character is Black Tiger. That's in the number 30 of that series of that Deadly Hands of Kung Fu.
All right, now we got one more for episode 1. Now, before I even go to, I'm sure there's some that we even missed.
Yeah,
last one for episode 1, and then we'll swing into episode 2.
All right, guys. So here you see the sword label on the notebook right under the TV, and you see the sword logo on the computer screen. So they're what this is telling me when I watch this is Sword is basically watching Wanda's thoughts and monitoring what's going on. This Sword book, the first appearance of Sword, Astonishing X-Men number 6, you could 100% find this in back bins, guys.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I think Sword is going to be almost like what do you think, Matt? Like a Hydra or like
Well, it's funny. I got a theory. I don't want to say it until episode 2, but yes, I think Sword is like Shield.
Right. Yes, they're going to be the
And
next.
then we'll
Shield
talk about
moving forward.
the Hydra counterparts of that later.
The Hydra to
Yeah.
Shield is this to Sword, and we are going to
Yeah.
get into that.
Yeah.
So the thing is, though, is Shield monitoring her while she's roaming around free, or do they have her captive right now?
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good question.
That's what we don't know. Or are they just monitoring her thoughts and how it's going? That's a good theory right there, Jim. Because we don't know, but we do know is that 100% monitoring. So
Because what was the thing that someone was whispering her? Somebody in the chat mentioned it already. Like Wanda, what
are they doing to you? That was in 2, right?
Who's doing
So
this?
we're going
And
to get
actually,
into
Gary, there's
episode 2. Oh, go ahead.
There's another Easter egg for episode 1. The calendar with the heart is episode 1.
Oh,
Yes.
that's episode 1. So let's get into that. You're right.
All right.
'Cause that's a really good one. I forgot. I got it down
because
here.
like with Fee was like, why would they put a heart there? Why wouldn't they put Boss's dinner? And I'm like, well, whatever. That's just a plot device. But the date is more significant than the fact that it's a heart.
Yeah, absolutely. And Vision doesn't forget anything, and neither of them could figure out what this date was. It ended up in the show being, Mr. Hart, the boss, coming over for dinner. So you got August 23, which is 8/23, right? Which ain't really nothing in comic book wise. But we know Wanda's from Europe, and how Europeans look at the calendar, it could be 23/8. Which in turn goes into Avengers 238 here. And the synopsis of this comic book is Vision is destroyed and Wanda's piecing him back together. So that's a huge homage to this episode because we already know what happened to him in Endgame. So again, guys, this is a book you could find on the cheap. Does it have legs? I don't think so, but
I think it's even a stretch that's what that means. But
it's interesting.
It fits, but I don't know if that was lucky because I also like what Jersey to the Bay said that there's 23 MCU movies.
Oh, that's true.
Okay. What is the August significance? It could be the director's birthday for all we know, but it's a kind of a stretch, but it does kind of fit because especially in episode 2. She kind of pieces him back together as well, which we'll talk about.
Yeah, too. Yeah, that's right.
But not only that, but who else do you have on the cover that's on the show?
Right.
Yeah. Is Monica Rambeau a Spectrum? So it could be something, it could be nothing, but it definitely does fit,
I wouldn't buy the book for more than cover price.
Oh, me neither. Because
$2 book.
It definitely doesn't have legs. It's no first appearance. It's just Wanda basically piecing him back together.
Yeah. And like we said, some of this stuff, some of the Easter eggs are it's not like, make sure you go buy that book. Sometimes it's just a nod to something, an ode to something,
Yep, exactly.
There's a lot more in episode 2, but before we get into episode 2, I want to go around on a scale of 1 to 10. We'll start with Jay, then Jem, then Matt. What do you give in episode 1? Keep in mind, this is the very first Marvel show.
I'll give it a 6.
Wow, I was
That's
going to go
much
lower
better than I thought.
I'll give
I thought he was going to say a 4.
Only because I was waiting for something, and if it wasn't for all those Easter eggs that had my brain flowing, it would have got something. Like I said, guys, if there wasn't all those Easter eggs in this episode, it would have been a lot lower. But it gave me something to do. I watched the episode 3 times. I tried to pick up whatever I could and give information out to you guys. So all those Easter eggs definitely gave it like a 2-point bump for me. So I'll give it a 6.
I think you're generous. I think your grading scale is off because you hated it. I liked it more than you, but I wouldn't give it a 6. Like, especially if I'm grading this episode by itself. Like, as a whole season, I could see. But as itself, it was kind of like it was a lot that you had to go through to receive a little bit, So if my scale is like Iron Man is 10 and Incredible Hulk is 1, this is like a 3 for me.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And like I said, if it wasn't for digging through all these Easter eggs and putting me to work, it would be a lot lower.
To me, that's what makes it not whack. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly. Same here, dude.
We got grades all over the place in the chat.
I
saw a -10. I saw a CGC
a -10. Oh God,
they're all over the place. Matt, what do you think?
I got one question. Did we put the one about the wine? Is that in episode 2 or is that in episode 1?
I don't even have that one.
That's episode 1.
Okay, so can I say that?
You want to talk about that? I don't have any.
Just real quick. So when she's pouring the wine, it says MEPH, Memph, from Mephisto. So that was one Easter egg from Mephisto. We know there was another one in episode 2. So we'll get into that. But I think I'm gonna get a little smart here, right? I'm gonna give it a purple label. Okay, and I'm gonna say it's a purple label 6.0 for me because it has some caveats, right? It's got some, there's some stuff that makes it better than if I were to just grade it as if like I'm with Jem 3. If I'm just going purely on entertainment, it's a 3. But I'll give it a 6 purple because it had some stuff that kind of intrigued me, and I think they created the episode really well, even though it wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah, and I can see the season in a whole grading at a high 9. I don't know about a 10, but for that first episode, like especially like what Jay said, if this was like a casual watching it, you'd be like, man, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna actually go with a 4. I love the Easter eggs, and I gotta say it was more 3-ish. And how I kind of opened tonight's show was you may like it a little bit more after we talk about these Easter eggs because it definitely helped. And I feel like all 4 of us talked about that.
Yeah, for sure.
The Easter eggs helped. And of any of the shows coming out and any of the movies we've watched, this one makes the most sense to have all those Easter eggs thrown at us. Yep. Is that right? I mean, I feel like this is the perfect one. This is
the one. Yeah.
It's just a mind, it's something's going on. We don't know what it is. And there's nods all over the place. Matt, the fact that you brought up the wine is really important because now that we're getting into episode 2, oh man, Trevor, that's a tough grade right there.
You might as well keep it raw at that point.
Yeah.
That's a no grade CGC.
That's tough. There was, in my opinion, I do think there was a tremendous difference between episode 1 and episode 2.
I'll tell you right now, my episode 2 ranking is going to be way better than my episode 1 ranking.
Me too. Me too. So
let's do it.
Let's do it. Do you want to do a quick synopsis on episode 2? Because I thought this was much better.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So we open up and there's some knocking on the window. Right. And the beds are separated.
Yeah.
No touching.
Did you know that that's, not really how people did it back in the days? It was just for TV in the 60s that they didn't want to show people laying in bed together.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I did not know that. I know Lucy and Ricky slept in separate beds.
That's how I sleep right now.
That's good. So
keep doing YouTube for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
But and I don't know if anybody picked this up as quickly as I kind of did, but for some reason, because I love Wanda, her hair was different. Right out of the gate, you saw it. There was a different vibe. There was right away. You kind of
the clothes even look different. I thought. I mean,
immediately we jumped from the 50s to the 60s, and right. We'll see if that holds true throughout. But that's kind of what I saw
for sure, man.
Knocking on the window, noise, Vision is scared, blah 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 blah.
Which is already unrealistic that either one of them would be scared.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what's really unrealistic is that you got a smoke show like Elizabeth Olsen sleeping in a different bed than you in the same room. That's I mean, how did we not talk about how hot she looks in episode 1 and 2? I mean, she's phenomenal.
The lingerie. It's
Forget
50s lingerie. What could you do?
I want to know what happened to her accent from Age of Ultron till now. It's
She's totally Americanized now.
She got that Rosetta Stone for Christmas.
That's it.
So they're going into a local talent show for the kids. They want to fit in. It's a new neighborhood. This is what's weird. It's a new house, right? A new neighborhood, but yet all the same people. Is that right? Or are they in the same neighborhood, just a different house? Because I thought it was new everything.
It just looks like the environment changed, but the people stayed the same.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Now, granted, it did jump. We'll say 10 years. I don't know. It's a whole new decade.
Yep.
He wasn't having none of this, man.
She's like, well, that was.
But see, the way I look at it is like Wanda's trying to tell herself that everything's okay and that everything is normal. So a normal person would be scared.
Would be scared.
Banging at the door. She's not Scarlet Witch, an Avenger, because if that's true, then the guy that's next to her is dead.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. She's put herself in this environment, right? In this world,
it's supposed to be like that perfect normal world,
right?
That's what she was looking for.
Normal people. What are normal people? I don't know. Probably something I've seen on TV before.
Yep, exactly. 100%. And it's possible that her growing up in Sokovia, all they had were old black and white 50s and 60s, 70s show, right?
Another good point.
I like that guy.
So we're gonna go to the talent show, and now Scarlet Witch and Vision become Glamour and Illusion, which, if you catch my video a week or two ago, I said this was going to happen based on a I don't want to put it out there.
Don't drop the source. Don't drop the source.
Can't drop the source, but a tweet was put out there, so it ended up coming true, which is good. Before they test the, what is it called, the box of mystery or whatever the hell they called it.
Yep.
They do it. They've got Elizabeth Olsen's outfit, which was nice, and then Vision goes off to meet the fellas. Elizabeth Olsen as Wanda. She's going off to meet the girls to talk about the talent show, right? Because I kind of zoned out at that point.
Yeah, they go to talk about it's for the children, and it's almost like a cult thing. Everybody's like for the children.
So weird. Yeah.
I thought it was Wu-Tang for a second, man.
Yeah, Wu-Tang is for the children.
Vision is going to a neighborhood watch meeting, accidentally eats some gum. We know he doesn't eat. He made that perfectly clear in episode 1.
Which was funny. I laughed out loud at that a little bit.
With the gum or the eating?
The eating comment in the first one.
Oh, yeah. So then gum is going down. We see an animated, which is cool. Again.
Yeah, I like that. Yep, I like
something different. We see the gum go down into his stomach in an animated version
Rocky
of
Bullwinkle type of looking thing, right?
Yeah. Right. We see it get all mixed up into his gears. Now all of a sudden, Vision is drunk. Fast forward now, they're at the talent show. Scarlet Witch with a drunk Vision. They put on their little act. Wanda saves the day.
She makes it work, man.
She makes it happen. She makes it work. They go into the back. She pulls the gum out. Like, she checked him out, if you noticed, right? She did a little thing. She goes head to toe. She finds something wrong in his belly. She pulls out the gum. Well, no, actually, she sends the gum up. He spits it out. He's back to normal. They're walking out, which I kind of missed one little thing.
You missed the helicopter thing.
The helicopter, which we'll touch on.
But before she goes to the talent show, she notices something outside. She walks outside. It's black and white. She sees this hint of red in the bushes and pulls out this helicopter. Now,
which I want to go back to episode 1 when they did the Stark toaster commercial. When the commercial starts, everything is black and white, including the little red. Well, I say red, the little dot on the toaster.
Yeah.
When it pans back, the dot on the toaster is red. So we almost see a beginning of a transition in episode 1.
Yeah.
And that was an obvious Easter egg that we didn't even mention, but just having Stark Industries stuff, like Howard Stark stuff, that was cool.
Yeah. Now, episode 2, she goes outside. She finds this toy helicopter, and we'll get into it in a minute. Now that's red. And before she starts, you could see the mind going, right? You could see the wheels turning. All of a sudden, Agnes shows up.
Like, this is not supposed to be like this, right?
Right? Like, it's almost like she shows up right when things are about to,
bring her back. To bring her back,
like
right?
Click, right.
She brought her back.
I thought that was going to be the Thanos helicopter from the comics.
With him in it and everything.
Yeah. Well, it's so Agnes always happens to show up when things are going wrong. If you notice in episode 1 and episode 2, so she's popping up all the time when the dinner plans went wrong, and then when this helicopter,
the whole mentor thing, right?
Yep,
she's there for her because she's mentoring her in episode 2, just like episode 1. She's mentoring her before the meeting with all the women and telling her about all the girls, right?
About
and what
Dottie,
you got to
get
look out for.
She's
doing it again in episode 2.
Yeah.
So now they're at the meeting, and this is when things get really, like, you could see it starting now. Everything is starting to change. You get the little devil Easter egg.
Yep.
You get who's this girl's name? This woman shows up.
Geraldine.
So, yeah, that's Geraldine in the show, but that's the same actress that's going to play Monica Rambeau, who we all know.
So you see her come in.
Yep.
You are introduced to, was it Dottie or someone?
Yeah, Dottie, I don't think is anyone. She's just basically the head of the PTA. Annoying chick.
There might be something with her. I could see there maybe
down the line a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the same thing, all these people that we met in episode 1, we see in episode 2, and they're all at the talent show.
Yep.
Right? Wanda and Vision, they do a great job. Glamour and Illusion, they try to sneak out, and they get called back on stage. Congratulations, you did a great job.
And you know what? They did a good job. The piano, and then he picks it up and she changes it to the cardboard. Like, all of that was pretty well done. Like,
it was pretty good.
It almost looks like the technology in the 60s is better than the 50s, so the effects look better. It still wasn't like 2021 effects, but I just found it clever how they kind of made it match the era that they're supposed to be in.
Yes. And we're gonna see this in episode 3. Let's see if that theory holds true, right?
Yeah,
now they're jumping. So end of episode, they're back at home. They hear the crash again on the window, right? And I'm going to use air quotes on the window, but they hear a noise outside again. They both run outside, and this is when things really start to shake up.
There with her when they both go outside?
Vision is outside with her.
Okay.
They're actually inside. They're about to kiss. The noise happens outside.
But she's pregnant.
On the second go around. So they go outside. They see the beekeeper.
I think she's pregnant on both.
No, she's pregnant on the first.
She's pregnant. They're about to kiss. Then they hear the pain. They go outside.
Yeah, they don't kiss. Yep.
They almost kiss. They go outside. They see a beekeeper come out of the sewer.
Yep.
Wanda knows something's up.
Because they both freeze. Like, again, it's almost like at the dinner table. Like, oh, shit, this is not supposed to be happening right now. This is not.
She rewinds time back to where before.
She even says, "What does she says? No, not like
says no, or something, just no, or something along those lines.
Like, let me stay in my illusion here. You know what I'm saying? And rewind it back. Now she's pregnant. Now is the pregnancy significant? Does that mean they're gonna have kids in episode 3, and the kids are gonna be? I forget who their kids are in the comics. Even
depends.
Is it gonna be? Is it gonna be Viv and them from Tom King's Vision run, or is it gonna be Wanda and Vision's kids from the comics? I mean,
Young Avengers. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so that's what happens. She puts the kibosh basically on what's happening. She rewinds back into the house. She's getting super pregnant before our eyes, and the house and everything around changes to color. We've now the scenery has changed almost to a 70s vibe. 70s. They kiss like they were going to before. She's pregnant. Episode ends, and there we go.
Yep.
And the one part that we didn't talk about is the part with the radio, like about 3/4 of the way through the show.
That's while she's cleaning up at the meeting with the women.
Yep. Oh, that's what somebody tries to talk to her, right?
Yeah, she hears the voice on the radio. Wanda, who's doing this to you?
Who's doing this to you, right?
Yep. So is somebody doing it to her? Is Sword doing it to her, or is she doing it to herself? That almost makes me feel like she is captive and that they're monitoring her, or they're trying to understand the level of her powers or something.
So I mean, I have a theory, and we'll talk all about this after we talk about episode 2, because there's a lot to cover in this episode.
All right, let's look at the Easter eggs, right?
You want to go right into the Easter eggs here. So
let's do it.
Here come the episode 2 Easter eggs. First one is a quick one, but it's just kind of a little nod here. What do you think? Matt, you want to take this one?
Oh, you know what? I don't even know what this one is, to be honest with you. I missed this one.
There you go, Jim.
Yeah, go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, it's like it could be a nod to the Infinity Stones.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, there you go.
You see the 6 stones
makes sense.
Around the moon.
Yeah.
Here's one of my favorites in both episodes right here. This one's important. Now, Matt, you take this one.
Yeah, so that is the silhouette of Grim Reaper. And if you listen to Gary a few weeks ago, he did mention that Grim Reaper could be in this show. And right there, this is the intro, or I guess was this at the end of 1 or the beginning of 2? I don't even remember.
This was the beginning of 2.
Yeah, this was the beginning of 2.
That's the Bewitched intro.
Yep, and that's a silhouette of Grim Reaper. And I think we have a picture of that first appearance, Avengers 52. So yeah, and this ties to another Easter egg as well, right?
This one?
Yeah. Well, do you have a picture of Grim Reaper or no? To show his okay, I was gonna say, yeah, that silhouette is exactly his.
Yeah, you can kind of see his helmet there a little bit.
Yeah, it's his helmet.
And he evolved from that first appearance from the Avengers 52. So now if you see him like in the old Gem, in the Marvel cards, it's that same exact helmet he has on. But before we get into that, there's another Easter egg for Grim Reaper as well that comes later on. So
that's what I was saying, the one that ties into it.
Yeah, there's another one that ties into that we'll get into later that happens.
Actually, we can kind of dabble quickly on this.
You might as well.
All right, so here you got Bova Milk, guys. You have Wonder it looks almost like it says Wonder Oats, I'm thinking, something like that. You got Anti-Ace for Agnes, but you got Bova Milk, guys. So Bova the cow was a humanoid cow that basically raised Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch in the comics. And she was from, I have it written down. She was from Mount Wagandor. So that's a nod to her because she basically raised Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver. So again, another Easter egg, but that'll lead into something else down the line as well. I don't know if you want me to get into it now while we're rolling.
Nah, just do the top right now. Annie A's.
Oh, Annie A's. Again, we got Agnes. That's what Scarlet Witch's kids called Agatha, who we already seen in episode 1.
Agatha, not Agnes. Agatha.
Yeah. Well, in the show, it's Agnes.
She calls herself Agnes.
Yeah. In the show, it's Agnes, but obviously it's Agatha Harkness. So she's gonna play the role, guys. Okay, so back to the Bova milk thing. So this is Herb the neighbor, right? Just so happens in the comics, Herbert is the name of the High Evolutionary, who we all know from his first appearances, Thor 134.
Which has been a spec book for a while now.
Wow. Yeah, so the thing about him is he was spec to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He's actually the one that gives Adam Warlock his name and gives him the... What stone is it? I think the Soul Stone, the Soul Gem. Yeah, but not only that, but he is the creator of Mount Wagandor, who we've seen Bova the cow is from. So I don't think it's coincidental. You have a Herbert, you have Bova milk, we have Bova the cow, and we have Mount Wagandor. So that Thor 134, I've been specking on that book for a while. It's only a matter of time before he pops in the MCU, and he might have just popped in episode 2, guys.
Well, he also has big bad potential. Him, the Beyonder, those type of guys,
So going back to all these things that happen, I think this is Wanda going back to her past, seeing Bova the cow, this humanoid cow that raised her and Quicksilver, Herbert, Agnes, everything that's happening looks like it's going to her past and maybe some present, but it's all people that affected her life in some way. So again, this is why I'm enjoying the show, is just finding these Easter eggs. But besides that, not really doing it for me right now.
I gotta say, Jay, you were the one who gave it the best grade the first episode.
Yeah, you know why? Because I enjoy all the speculation and looking at all this hidden stuff. It's it's detective work.
Here's the one I got most excited. I caught this right away, immediately. We got the colored helicopter here. Now that we talked about this quickly in the synopsis, but we have the sword symbol. And my favorite part of this is the number 57, which even the colors are representing Avengers 57, the first appearance of Vision.
Yep.
That was an easy one.
And they do that. They've done that in Spider-Man Far From Home with, I think it was
238.
Which was what? Hydra Man?
No, 238's Hobgoblin. But it was the Hydra Man.
It was like 212 or something.
212. Yeah. Maddie, what do you think about this one?
So we got this is another commercial, right? Like the Iron Man.
Yeah,
so
another obvious one.
Yeah, another obvious. You got Strucker, which was Avengers Age of Ultron, and you have Hydra, this Hydra symbol, 1,000 meters. But I know, Jay, you were saying something about the time on this one. Did you ever come up with something on that?
Yeah. So, all right, guys. So if you could go back to the watch real quick. You got the watch, right? It has, Baron Wolfgang von Strucker, who we all know experimented on Quicksilver and Wanda back in the day.
He made them, basically. He gave them the powers.
Essentially gave them the powers.
Back when they were miracles.
So right here, you see the clock. It says 2:42, right? So if you look up Avengers 242, in this issue, it features Scarlet Witch and Vision announces that there's a major threat coming. The major threat turns out to be the Beyonder, and the next issue after that leads into the Secret Wars, guys. So Marvel already announced the Secret Wars was coming, so this could just segue into the Beyonder. This is a book that I definitely grabbed already. As a matter of fact, I grabbed it last night because it's still on the cheap. And I don't think they would throw that in for nothing, especially with Secret Wars coming. So the Beyonder might be a character, maybe not this phase, but maybe the next phase you might want to grab, guys.
Yeah, the Secret War movie could have elements from Hickman's, from Secret Wars 1 or Secret Wars 2. It could be a combination of so many things from there.
Yeah, and Feige and Marvel aren't going to throw in. Look at all the clocks as you watch these shows, guys, and just put them into books that are relevant to Wanda and Vision. They're not going to throw in a certain time. It's going to mean something. So that's the only thing it struck me as, okay, let me look up this Avengers book, and that's exactly what happens in the Avengers book. So,
and I think that goes right to what Jay's been saying this whole time, right? Is that she's being reminded of her past. She's being reminded of either good memories or bad memories. And obviously Strucker has got to be a bad one, right? Same thing with the, I think Jay mentioned a few of them before, but I think we keep seeing that she's being, everything is, her memories are manifesting.
Yep.
And I don't know if it's so much somebody implanting this, but it's the world she created. So of course it's going to have elements from her life.
Right. Yep.
Just because it's her creation. So it just makes sense to have them sprinkled in the background and such.
Now, let me go into this one because I'm not, I know the Easter egg, but I don't know where this came from. So go ahead, Jay.
All right. So this guy,
look, by the way.
Yeah, that's a great look. That's the look I get when I drop my pants most of the time in my 20s. But anyway.
Oh, God.
So this is Jack Schaefer, guys. As you can see, she's the head writer and executive producer. In the back, you see a silhouette of Wonder Man. Guys, Wonder Man just happens to be Grim Reaper's brother. Here's his first appearance. I don't think any of this shit that we're talking about is coincidental. You have the Grim Reaper's helmet. Now you have Wonder Man. They're throwing.
Look.
Yep.
Telling you.
They're throwing clues in for you guys. So they wouldn't just throw in Wonder Man. It's a character that's been out of existence for a while. You haven't seen Wonder Man since you've seen that 90s comic right here that Gary pulled up. So, guys, the first appearance of Wonder Man's a pricey book already. But again, you could find this Wonder Man in dollar bins somewhere. And it looks more like it's going to be a character that looks like this actual Wonder Man, a more futuristic one. So he might be on the way too, guys. So maybe a book that you could probably grab that for $0.25, actually.
Imagine she's watching us right now like, oh, they figured everything out with that look on her face.
Try to blur it out, but
I'm sure there's half the shit we didn't even see.
Exactly. So guys, come on. The Grim Reaper's brothers, Wonder Man, they both show up in the first 2 episodes somehow, some way. It's definitely coming. So grab those books.
We got a few more. I'm trying to figure. All right, let's go with my girl. I am really excited about this one.
Oh,
there you go, guys. Monica Rambeau. This is going to be the highlight of this series. We've been waiting for her. She was the first African American Avenger. She's playing a big role. She's heating up in comic books now. She just appeared in Symbiote Spider-Man #3. Big character. I think she's going to do big things. Again, her first appearance, Amazing Spider-Man King Size Annual #16. A book that's very affordable, guys. And a lot of people make a mistake on this book. They grab the newsstand. You actually want to grab the direct edition of this book because they were more scarce in that time. So don't fall for that newsstand on this book. You want to grab this exact direct edition, and it's still a book that you could grab before. This book has legs. Grab.
Now I'm going to say I already like her more than what's that chick's name who plays Captain Marvel?
Brie Larson.
Oh, Brie Larson. I already like her more than Brie Larson.
I'm
going to of WandaVision.
I'm going to tell you though that the book, I still, me and Jay have been talking this for a while, and I'm not going to take the credit for it. I'm going to give it to Chad Crow. And he's been saying this to me for like 8 months now, maybe longer, is that she's not going to be Captain Marvel. She's going to be Spectrum.
Yep.
She's going to come in as Spectrum. That's her first appearance right there. A super, super affordable book. This book probably has the most legs out of anything we've talked about yet, to be honest with you, because you could see what these modern specs are doing. And there's already been some toys made with her as Spectrum. And I think in the past we've seen that where toys kind of give, they kind of tip the hand of where the MCU is going. And there's already been some trademark toys with Spectrum. So I don't think she takes over as Captain Marvel. I think she comes in as Spectrum.
And it's another great book to grab is the Ultimates, guys, because so far in the Ultimates, now that she appeared in episode 2, every character on that Ultimates #1 cover has appeared except for Adam the Blue Marvel, who could quite possibly be in the works. So another great book to grab.
And here's a quick one we didn't talk about, another affordable one.
Oh, yeah. So that's Avengers 227. This is when Monica Rambeau joins the Avengers. It's a great moment. It's the first time an African-American woman joined the Avengers. And it's another book you could still grab on the cheap, guys. So if you can't grab that first appearance, they always say grab a book, maybe not the book. So you got that Mighty Avengers and you got that Avengers, guys. So go out and get them now.
I hope she takes Brie Larson's spot as Captain Marvel.
She's not.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen.
I want to see Rogue take Captain Marvel's powers.
Yeah, me too.
I'd like to see.
That would be great.
I know Steve's looking forward to that too.
We're not just going to get an X-Men movie. We're going to get Rogue. We're going to get like we already, I mean, we're not going to get into this, but they've already somewhat teased the Weapon X program in Falcon Winter Soldier. You know, that we'll talk about that down the line.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait for that.
I think we're going to get snippets of X-Men, which will ultimately come together as an X-Men movie. They were, I mean, we don't know now, but they were talking Storm and Black Panther and stuff like that. So we'll see. We've got 2 more Easter eggs for this one. This is a quick one right here.
Yeah.
Jay, you want to take this one?
Oh, yeah. So again, guys, when I first looked at this, I thought it was going to be the Spectrum symbol. Like, as you could see on her uniform, it kind of looks like that. But I think that's actually the Mind Stone, right? A little silhouette of the Mind Stone, or a little homage to the Mind Stone. But I could be wrong, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And last...
Yeah, nothing major.
Nothing major, just a little, kind of like showing the Infinity Stones in the beginning of the episode, right?
Right.
And then last but not least, this is when all hell started breaking loose at this moment.
Yeah, guys. So here you see a beekeeper. It just so happens that AIM, Advanced Idea Mechanics, are often known as the beekeepers. Matt, you got this book. You spec'd on this a while ago, Strange Tales 146. The first appearance of them, like Matt was saying, they're basically the opposite of what SWORD is. So you could see both of these agencies going back and forth. Matt, let me know.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about AIM a while ago. They are like Jay just said, Hydra. So I think it's fitting that this guy has what we see as the beekeeper has the sword symbol on his back, but he's got the bees surrounding him. And AIM was also, they were also known as the beekeepers. Okay, so it seems like they already have a mole. You know, this is kind of hinting at maybe a mole. You got a sword logo, but you got the beekeeper. Okay, that was kind of like Shield and Hydra. So I really like that one. And AIM really ties a lot of characters together. There was a couple ones that we didn't talk about. Also, I guess we don't have enough time to kind of go through. There was other Easter eggs that we didn't.
Go quick. I
up.
just don't have any more pictures.
Oh, you don't have any more pictures? I thought we had that one more of Wentworth.
Oh, I do. Here you go. This is important.
So in the background there, you can see the small sign above the door says Wentworth, and then at some point, you know, I think you see the bigger sign up on top. It says Wentworth, and you really get a close up of it. So there's a character named Deidre Wentworth, and she is also known as Superior, and her first appearance is Captain America 390, and she has ties to Dark Avengers, which, Jay, there was some, I know we talked a little bit about it. We weren't like comfortable with it. There was some nods to Dark Avengers in here.
Yep.
She has ties to AIM, and she has ties to Thundra, which is another character that's been rumored in the MCU. I think it's her daughter or like she's a relative. And then also the Femizons, right? Earlier, Jay talked about a character that was all about kind of a woman-centric world. Well, Superior, aka Deirdre Wentworth, is along that same ilk. So there's a lot of things that tie these characters together. You know, could it be a coincidence? Sure. But it seems like there's too many coincidences that tie these characters. AIM, you know, the women, the name on the building, they showed it like 5 times. I mean, yeah, there's some of this stuff is tied together. I don't know how it fits in yet. I haven't figured all that out yet. If I did, I'd probably be on, you know, be writing an article somewhere. But this, there's a lot of cool Easter eggs on this one.
Well, you're rolling us right into what I wanted to talk about next before we grade this thing. Well, let's grade it. How about that? Let's start other way around. Maddie, what do you want to give this? 1 to 10 on episode 2.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with like a 7 on this because I really got excited. You know, if I split up into half, the first half would have got like a 4, and the second half would have got like probably closer to an 8. But I'm gonna go with like a 7. There was great Easter eggs. We start to find out what Wanda is, what this series is really going to be about, and her bending a reality. Like Jem said earlier, is she held captive? Is she trying to do this herself? Is she, you know, doing this herself, but it's having an effect in the actual world, right? Is it creating some type of rift in reality, even though she's doing this in her head? And that's why they're monitoring her. They think that maybe somebody else is doing this to her. That's why I hear, who's doing this to you, Wanda? Who's doing this to you? So I'm going to give it a 7. I enjoyed half of this episode and all of the Easter eggs.
Jam?
Yeah, I mean, being that I gave episode 1 a 3, and not that I didn't like it, it's just my scale has bangers on 10 and charts on 1. So I'm going to say this one was a 5. And I think that we're going to see each episode is going to get better and better because they're going to give us more and more, not only Easter eggs, but teases as to what's really happening. So I'm thinking like what people in the chat are calling 8s and 9s now. Wait till we see episode 7, and those are going to be some bangers. So I'm going to be a little conservative here. I'm saying it's a 5. It's an improvement from episode 1, and I'm looking forward to continuing the improvement as we go along.
Jay,
I'm going 6 again, guys.
You can go the same grade.
I'm going the same grade, guys, because it was just as many Easter eggs, although it did bring in better characters. I believe it brought in Monica Rambeau. It brought in possible Easter egg to High Evolutionary. What we glanced over, which was the most important part for me, that I can't believe we forgot, is the mention of the devil. Yeah, and Agnes says, "You won't believe where the devil is. He's always here," or something along those lines. Who's the only devil in the MCU, guys? It's Mephisto. He's already been teased in Loki on the stained glass window.
And he was teased in episode 1.
Yeah, and exactly. And he was teased in episode 1 with the wine bottle. So that's already 2 mentions of him. I want to see what he translates into
I can't wait.
The MCU. Yeah. And like Matt said, you guys probably think the same thing. He may take on a human form at first, which I could definitely see. But I can't wait to see him in his devil form. And that's going to be good. So I'm excited for that. So
and you got Mephisto's got ties to Silver Surfer.
Yep. Thanos. If Thanos comes back, he was always kind of like Thanos' bitch, though. I feel like, right, Jim? In Infinity Gauntlet.
He was only Thanos' bitch because Thanos had the gauntlet, but he don't have the gauntlet.
That's true. Yep, exactly. Yep. So
I'm gonna follow up. I'm going with Jay on this. I'm going 6. I love the Mephisto reference. I think he is the big baddie of this, and I wouldn't be surprised. And you've probably heard me say it already. I wouldn't be surprised if Mephisto is the big baddie across this and Loki, and that he's going to be around for a bit. And I could see him, of anyone in any of these shows, coming to the big screen. I think Mephisto fits.
Yep,
I like
more
that.
So than Grim Reaper. I think they could use him, maybe not as a big baddie, but referenced, maybe showing up now and again. I think he could do it. Just my pick. Now, that's also the last thing I wanted to talk about was theories. Where do you guys think this is going?
Oof. Who's starting? All right, I'll start. So honestly, as we're sitting here, I started thinking about some things, and I think that Agatha Harkness, I'm just going to call her Agatha Harkness, is the bad guy. And I'm not sure it's because she has to be or she wants to be. Is somebody else pulling her strings, like you said, like Mephisto? I believe that she is doing, it has something to do with what's happening to Wanda, and that she is kind of pulling some of the strings. She keeps talking about her husband, George, but we never see him, right? Which is very odd for the time period. You never see a married woman by herself in this time period. You see everybody else at the talent show is with their significant other. She's over there by herself. She keeps making jokes about George. No George to be found. I think that she is an antagonist. Ralph. It was a Ralph? Okay.
Yeah, Ralph.
She's an antagonist of this show. I don't know if she will be throughout the whole thing or if she's going to somehow flip and help Wanda, but I think she is what's causing this to happen to Wanda in some way, shape, or form. And then I think we're going to learn about, the multiverse through this show. Beyond that, I'm not really sure. But those are my only 2 theories so far.
Yeah, it's always the person that's there that you think they're helping you, but they're the ones that are really trying to hurt you,
Absolutely.
I don't think that Mephisto is behind this. I think it's definitely her creating her own thing. It could be because maybe AIM and Sword have her captured, or maybe they're monitoring her because she had a breakdown, but she's definitely fabricating this world, mourning the loss of Vision, possibly Quicksilver. We know we're going to go through the eras of sitcoms for whatever reason in these episodes moving forward, and I think every episode is going to have more of the real world and less of the fake world as we go along. And I think we're definitely going to, see it. Does someone have her captured? Is she going to break free? I don't really know the end game of it. I think it's going to end with her coming to terms with what happened to Vision, but I don't know what the climax is going to be. That's the part that I'm still curious about.
Yeah, I'm totally on the fence. I think this is just a fluffer series. This is preparing you for something better. If that's the case, then they are doing a good job with it. If that's not the case and it leads into something different, I think it's going to be a slow burn, right? That's what everyone's saying. It's a slow burn that the last episode is going to leave you into whether it be Doctor Strange or Spider-Man, or I don't see it tying into Falcon Winter Soldier, but this show is definitely going to play into the next big baddie, whoever that is. So I'm hoping it's Mephisto. We'll see, guys. We got a ton of movies coming out. So like I said, this is a fluffer season that could just lead you into the next thing. So
I gotta jump in real quick. I don't think that Marvel would have switched around the order and put WandaVision first if this was going to be a fluffer. I think the end has serious implications for what happens beyond that.
Honestly, I don't know. It could go either way. It could cause a multiversal breach that leads into Doctor Strange, or it could just be an arc of Wanda and her coming to terms with what happened, and it just kind of be a self-contained thing for her. So it could go either way for me.
I don't think Marvel just does small anything.
Disagree.
I disagree too, because like you said, there's never been a Marvel TV show yet in the MCU.
True.
And look at What If. What If is not going to have to really tie into anything.
No, but that's like animated. That's its own thing. I think this is going to I think each episode, not only we're going to jump, right, generations. The fact that it's a sitcom, I think, is Wanda trying to keep everything lighthearted. Yeah. I think it's going to get more and more serious every episode. It's going to get more, like you were saying, more and more reality. And this fake world is going to slowly disappear. And eventually we will be in a reality. I also think we're going to get the big reveal before episode 8, maybe like 5, episode 5, when it's like, oh man.
Because think about it. How many eras do we have left? 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe 2000s. So how many episodes is that,
Well, you got, let's see, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2000 and teens, right? I don't know what you even call it.
What does it even look like? Freaking iCarly or something like that?
I don't know, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 counting what we already saw.
Give me the Seinfeld theme for the 90s.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think they're going Roseanne for the 90s though, for real.
You could do what about Cheers for the 80s?
Yeah, you could do that. But 80s looks like they're doing Brady Bunch for the 70s. 80s, it's not Cheers because they're not going to do the bar thing. But what's the 80s?
Come on, bro. Married, you got to do Married with Children.
You could do Married with Children.
Yeah,
that would be 90s, early 90s,
late 80s, early 90s.
We lost the 80s one, right? Because it's not going to be Cheers.
It could be Roseanne.
Roseanne was 80s, so what's 90s?
Full House.
That's true.
You got it, dude.
I don't know. We lost Matt.
We'll see. Matt's out of here, man.
Yeah,
he's like F WandaVision.
He went back to the 80s on us, man.
Jay, you got anything else to add?
No. Hey, listen, I'm gonna keep watching. I'm not discouraged by it. It's something to watch. It's still Marvel. I'm not necessarily hating on it, but I'm just not really.
Well, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say what I said before. In the trailers, we've already seen most of the trailers, have we not? The only thing we haven't seen yet is the 70s from the trailer, right? Which is coming up next. And then I bet you the next episode is that Halloween episode where they're dressed up. And then that's it. Everything. So we've gotten trailers from the first half of the show, which means we've seen nothing for the second half of the show.
I don't think the Halloween thing is going to be that big of a deal. I think
me neither.
A trailer.
No, I don't think so either. It's going to be.
It's just going to be a tribute. It's going to be a tribute to their old costumes, and that's it.
But I think that's going to be the 80s. That's what I think it's going to be.
You got Monica Ram. I don't know if you guys talked about this while I was gone. You got Monica Rambeau right in the trailers that says like she doesn't know who she is or where she is, right? Don't we get that during one of the trailers?
I haven't even
comes in.
Trailers.
I thought Agatha, whatever her name is on the show, I thought she says it from a car or something.
She says, "Do you think that?" She says something about, "Do you think that this is real or something like that?" Right?
Yeah, I did see that actually.
Is it possible that Mephisto is running the show through her, but she doesn't want to be a part of it, and she is actually trying to help Wanda?
Well, that's what I was saying. Like, is she pulling the strings, but like doesn't want to? You know what I mean? Yeah.
Like Mephisto is making it happen. I just keep going back to Mephisto. There's two references for him in 2 episodes.
Yeah.
I don't think after seeing that trailer for Loki, when you see him on the stained glass window, I don't think you're seeing any Mephisto in WandaVision at all. You're just gonna hear hints of him. You're definitely
hints. I think you can see hints.
Sword and aim. You don't even need Mephisto at this point.
Right. Yep.
No. But what if he's the big baddie of the what do you want to call it? MCU Disney Plus shows? I don't know.
Look how long they hinted at Thanos before they actually showed him.
Exactly.
You know, if he's the next big baddie of Marvel, they're gonna slow burn it, and you're gonna see him move. You're not gonna see him. They're not showing that dude till a movie, end credit of a movie, 100%.
Well, all right. Here's another theory for you. Let's say we know that WandaVision was tying into Doctor Strange, right? The multiverse of madness. What if this is a multiverse, and what if it's a multiverse that Loki's referencing in the stained glass?
And that'd be cool.
Mephisto is from this multiverse.
It could be.
I don't know.
You just blew my mind, Gar.
That's why I'm here. That's it. So we went over an hour. That wasn't the plan, but with 2 episodes, we kind of figured that would happen. We'll be here. I mean, I can't speak for everyone. I'll be here next week. I think we could do like a weekly thing with at least WandaVision. We'll see if it goes. If you guys liked it, please let us know.
This was dope.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of good info, man.
I don't think we left too much on the table here.
Nah, I think we covered everything.
All right. What Pressable Defects, you guys, what do you guys got coming up this week?
Maddie, take it away.
All right, so we got a couple things. This week we have a live show. This week we do every other week. So this Wednesday we have the author and the artist on the comic book Hot Valley Days, Cocaine Nights. Jay contacted him after we saw that book. The book is actually fantastic, and it's a true story. And the stories that the writer has are incredible, because he had to interview a lot of the characters that are in the book, and it's absolutely bananas. So I can't wait to talk to this guy live. Right, Jay? That's going to be bananas.
Yeah, basically it's about a girl from Ohio that moves to LA in the 80s and runs the whole coke game in LA. And like Matt said, it's a true story. This author went out and talked to cartel members in jail and got their stories and spoke to her. So it's going to be a cool show, man. We got a 1,500 subscriber giveaway coming up. Guys, you could check out Pressable Defects, go into the 15K subscriber giveaway video, comment with hashtag Pressable Defects, be a subscriber, like the video, and you're entered to win some cool stuff, man.
Yeah, that's going to be on the 27th of January. We're going to do that giveaway, with the grand prize being the High Republic 1, that set of the Clone Wars 1 homage covers. We're giving that away, the comic book exclusives. And if you guys have looked up how much that's going for on eBay now, I think it's the last sold was about $800 for that set. So we're giving one of those away. So you guys might want to go check that out.
And that's it, guys.
You got 10 days to enter.
And then on Tuesdays, we do New Comic Book Day, sponsored by CBSI. What's coming out, just a little preview of what's coming out. And that's it, man. I'm happy to be here. I'll be back here next week for episode 3. Hopefully I could get up to a 6 or 7 in rating, but we'll see, man.
Jem, the 100,000 man.
Congratulations, bro.
Yeah. What other than that awesome piece of piece of art back there you got? What do you got coming up this week?
So tomorrow, I dropped a review for a classic X-Men story, this oversized God Loves Man Kills. Reread it, and I've been trying to take the time and just make sure the production quality is on point. So if you guys watch the video, it's super clean, man, the way I did it. So drop a review for that. I got some statues coming in. I got the Thor versus Devastator from XM Studios.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk about that.
That's probably going to come in tomorrow or Tuesday. I got a couple of prototypes, man. I got an XM prototype coming in and a Prime 1 prototype that I can't really name yet. That's going to be dope. Wednesday, dropping the New Comic Book Day review, spoiler free. And yeah, probably just gonna be that kind of content for this week. Probably try to link up with you guys and review episode 3 of this WandaVision, and that's pretty much it, man.
All right, cool. I don't even know what I'm putting out this week. I haven't decided, but I do know that Friday is our first auction of 2021.
Oh,
So-
am I on that? Oh, I didn't get in on that.
Yeah.
I want to do one, man. I got a bunch of shit I got to get rid of.
I told you, whenever you're ready, we'll get you in.
I guess I'm not really ready.
Yeah, we can get you in February. if you want.
February, yeah.
February's open right now.
All right, sorry. Go ahead. I cut you off.
No, that's all I have to talk about is the auction next Friday. I don't know what I'm putting out for a video tomorrow. What should I put out tomorrow, you guys? Here, I'll give you.
Wait.
Guys. Hold
Yeah,
on.
are you going to tease them with what's changed a little bit on the auction?
We do have some changes in the auction. Very a subtle one, but a big one. So we've got something called the Blue Light Special, which I don't know if it's going to get a new name or not. But ultimately, we're going to take during the auction. We're going to have, and I as of right now, there's only 4. I may actually up it, Matt. I may up it. What we're going to do is we're going to sell a slabbed book significantly under GPA. There's going to be a few of those. Right now, I have 4 set aside under GPA. We may do a 5th. That's going to happen sometime throughout the auction. I'll definitely post the books on Instagram, which ones are going at a discount. And then other than that, it's a lot of the same. Buy it nows, lots, keys, silver, modern, runs. Like, you know how we do it. We're going to do that again. That is January 22nd, our first one of 2021. And was there anything else about it that I left out? That was it. That was the big one.
That was a big one. We talked about a couple of things, but we didn't settle in. But that was the big one. Yeah, a couple buy it nows below GPA. That's going to be.
Yeah,
people better get in on that.
Well, and here's the thing too. You guys, I got Jay and Matt will be there with me for next week.
There you
So
go.
here we
So
go.
you
I've
know
got
what that
you guys
means.
pick. You, the 3 of you guys, decide. Should I do a CGC unboxing of The Last Ronin and an Turtle toy unboxing, or should I drop the complete Journey into Mystery run, or should I do a CGC unboxing of the books that was voted on?
Drop that Turtles. We want to see that Very Gary label logo.
I can't wait to get my Very Gary remark, dude.
That's what I've got. So, all right, we'll do that tomorrow. We'll do the Turtles tomorrow. So that's what's coming out tomorrow, Turtles.
Let's do it.
That's it. So I appreciate it. Thank you guys for coming on. We'll do this a week. Make this a weekly thing, at least through WandaVision, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah.
Everyone else,
Sounds good to me.
being here, I enjoyed it. I'm sorry we kind of didn't get super into the chat, but that's a good thing when the chat's going. They're doing their thing, and we're doing ours. Everybody had a good time. So everyone had a good night. And guys, thank you so much for being here. And we'll see. What I guess I should say, keep it comics.
Get the credit.
There you go.